What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Lockdown Defense Sports Channel. I am your host. Joining me as well for my co-host today in this episode is the real AG, but I am your host for today, Young RG, as Coach likes to call me. And we are going to dive into our second iteration of this series we're doing, the Dark Horse series or Unexpected Contenders. This is going to be the NFC edition. We already uploaded the AFC edition. If you haven't seen that already, make sure you check that out. That was uploaded yesterday. This should be going up on Friday. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check the channel below. But getting started with this one, Alex, you're going to lead us off, starting off with it with your team.
Yes, sir.
The Panthers.
The Panthers.
The Panthers.
I was thinking of that Rizzler video, dude. I'm the Black Panther. But yeah, the Panthers, who went 5-12. 5-12 in 2024.
Yes, 5-12.
But yeah, I really like what the Panthers have done this offseason. I think a big part of the faith, or maybe blind faith right now, but look, Bryce Young to me answered a lot of the uncertain questions with him, with how he finished out 2024. They won 2 out of their last 3 games. He started to look more like the polished pocket passer that they thought they were getting when they took him number 1 overall. I think some of that is the fact that they brought in a coach that can help, get everything out of him and develop him as that quarterback. And so you couple the way they ended the year with, another offseason with Canales and that system and polishing it, and just on top of what they added this offseason through free agency, through the draft, and, sort of what I was saying in our last video, I didn't mean to just pick on the South, but they are in somewhat of an up for grabs division in the NFC South. But yeah, you look at the moves they made, I think kind of similar to the Patriots when we were reviewing them. They made a plethora of moves to bolster their defense. They re-signed a lot of young corner pieces they had. And then, on top of that, just continued to somewhat build around Bryce Young. Obviously spent their first-round pick on T-Mac, which I think is a great addition and a great, player to bring in to put faith in your young QB and help progress him further. On top of, they have Xavier Leggett, or Leggett, however you say his name, Leggette, whatever.
He's French,
I don't even know what he says half the time. But you got to think he'll take a step forward. And on top of that, they literally made sure that they re-signed to return the whole offensive line they had last year, which only gave up 29 sacks in 2024, which may sound like a lot, but when you compare that to the fact that they gave up 62 in 2023, Jeez. Which was part of Bryce Young's demise, those are all positive things to continue to build on. So you look at who they brought in, you look at who they added around the young core, on top of the fact that they have the 5th easiest strength of schedule. I think things are looking pretty bright for Carolina. And again, they're in the NFC South. To me, the Bucs are the true contender or contestant, if you will, to kind of rise to the top. Obviously, the Saints are a hot dumpster fire. Don't even have a QB right now, and the guy they have is a 28-year-old rookie. Falcons, are good looking on paper, but as you said, Robert, in the last video, there's a lot of unknowns with Michael Penix. I freaking hope he's okay, because I mortgaged a little bit of my dynasty future to bring him in.
Man, here we go.
But hey, but either way, yeah, they have a very favorable schedule. They're in a favorable division, and they were ascending at the right time last year, I think, to build off of that. I'm really excited to see, how Bryce Young looks at the start of this year, how he looks with T-Mac, how he looks with Leggett, how they help bolster the running game around him. Sucks that Jonathan Brooks is out again, but they brought him down. They got Chuba, who somehow is just a beast. So a lot of exciting things for the Panthers. And then just looking at their schedule, game 1 against Jacksonville, that ironically I did not mean to pit my 2 dark horses against each other,
Battle of the dark horses week 1.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they do have some tough opponents. Looking at Buffalo, potentially Green Bay. Um, and really that's about it. I mean, they have a very last place type schedule.
Nope.
Have some pretty good matchups. Obviously, their division matchups, playing the NFC West as well, so some favorable matchups there. Yeah, I mean, I really like the schedule they have ahead, what they have around, and just am excited to see how 2025 starts. Against Jacksonville, against my two dark horse teams, which one comes out on top first. But yeah, I think exciting things are happening down in Carolina.
Yeah, man, I 1000% agree with everything you said. Spoiler alert, little behind the scenes action when we were getting together our teams for wanting to set this video up. When you had mentioned this video idea, I was like, oh, Panthers are for sure going to be my NFC pick. I was like, I love what they're doing over there. Love the draft. I was already high on them, talking about the draft, and you could even see it in some of the videos we uploaded on this channel. And Alex sends me, he's like, all right, man. He's like, I got the slides all done. He's like, I got Panthers for my NFC team. I'm like, you mother.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
a little bit of the low hanging fruit, I guess, but
gotta pivot. But no worries. But yeah, love the Panthers. I'm very excited for them this season. I will definitely be rooting for them. This will be like my NFC team. I always try to pick an NFC team to kind of root for behind the scenes as a Chargers fan in the AFC. Definitely the Panthers are going to be my team this year for sure.
No doubt.
But moving on now to my pick. And I admit I had to pivot a little bit, but I know the Niners, and there really should be more question and exclamation marks after that, just based on our other video that you guys should definitely check out, or excuse me, the live video we did talking about Brock Purdy's contract and how that's affecting the roster and how this team will perform, kind of based off that. But I think here with the Niners, I always try to kind of have two sides of it, what could be and what couldn't be. However, I think the Niners do have a solid chance to rebound, maybe not so much into a playoff spot, but definitely rebound off a 6-11 record. I mean, I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were last year. They were also an insanely injury riddled team last year. So, that was very tough for them to overcome. They also have kind of this stigma around them that every other year they're good. So this is supposedly supposed to be their year now that they're going to be good. So if you believe in a little bit of dark magic or NFL gods for what that's worth, this may be a year where you see the Niners start to really impress. But their schedule is pretty easy, all things considered, because they are in the NFC West right now. And, for what it's worth, Vegas and a lot of the bookmakers don't believe in many teams in the NFC West minus the Rams. So obviously, we've been kind of saying this in the last episode as well, in terms of like, if you're able to go, steal one against the Rams, steal one against that top team in the division and sweep the other two teams in the Seahawks and the Cardinals, which is very possible for the Niners. I don't think either of us are high on either the Cardinals or the Seahawks this year. So it's definitely possible that could happen. And then that's, 5 wins right there potentially. And then just kind of looking at the rest of their schedule, they got games against Giants, Browns, Titans, Colts, Panthers. And I know, let's talk about pitting dark horse teams against each other. Yeah, the Panthers. But, they have some games of Falcons, so they have some games against the Saints. I mean, yeah, they definitely have the potential to go, if we talked about, sweep the two teams, pick up a win against the Rams and beat those teams you're supposed to beat. I can easily see them going double-digit wins here, and people will look at it as like, oh my God, Brock Purdy proved that No, you just had a really easy schedule, and that kind of maybe fooled you into thinking that Brock Purdy was really good. But I also like what they did in the draft as well. They addressed the edge position with their first-round pick in Mykel Williams, the edge rusher out of Georgia. And they continue to address that defensive side of the ball with their first 5 picks in this draft. So Michael Williams, the edge, with the first pick. Alfred Collins, the D tackle out of Texas, with their second pick. Nick Martin, the linebacker out of Oklahoma State, with their third pick. Upton Stout, cornerback out of Western Kentucky, with their second third-round pick. And C.J. West, the D tackle, which was a favorite of mine pre-draft process, took him in the fourth round with their first fourth-round pick, the D tackle out of Indiana. So yeah, they definitely need these defensive players, as Coach mentioned. They need these young guys to hit, and they need them to hit early on. But I think this is the perfect season potentially for them to do it. I think, as we mentioned, that strength of schedule, it's really not anything spectacular. So I definitely see them, kind of bouncing back this season. It may be a little bit of fool's gold. We may kind of look at this in 2 years from now and be like, wow, that was really a red herring, literally, quite literally.
Dynamite drop it.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think they have all the makings. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan, for whatever you think about him in the postseason and in Super Bowls, for the regular season, he's a damn great head coach, and he's proven that in past years. So, I'd like to think that. I also love Robert Saleh coming back to coach that defense. I think that is a huge, huge addition that they lost last year or in previous years, actually. So, yeah, I definitely think the Niners, it wouldn't, I don't know if it would really be surprising people just because of the pedigree that they carry, just being that franchise. But I definitely think that they're gonna prove some haters wrong this season, in particular.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and they definitely were a better top to bottom roster last year than the 6-11 record. A lot of it
Oh
had to
yeah,
do with injuries, as we kind of talking about the Purdy contract. But you look at the people around them, sort of like we were talking about with Jacksonville. Like, in my opinion, they have to be good this year
yeah,
because, I mean, you look at the numbers on Purdy's deal later on, like, really, they have this year and next year before they're going to have to start cutting back some costs to, make up for that. So yeah, they're going to have to turn it around pretty quick because otherwise, they're going to have to totally pivot how they've built their roster and reassess things to keep their Super Bowl window open. But yeah, I think you look at who they have. Like, they have, I mean, obviously you got Fred Warner, signed him to a big extension. You're bringing Saleh back, who was the guy that basically built up that defense
yep.
before he left. You're getting hopefully a healthy McCaffrey, who's definitely in the later years of his career, but when healthy is still an absolute freaking beast. And have Ayuk back. You got to
Kittle,
think you get Kittle. You got to think by them moving on from Debo, there's some faith in Ricky Pearsall
yep.
to take that next step. And honestly, he's kind of a younger, more athletic Debo, in my opinion. than,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, all signs are pointing good for San Francisco, and then on top of that, they have literally the easiest strength of schedule. So they should bounce back in a big way, and if they don't, somebody's going to be without a job, or maybe a few people. But
Demand,
it's
dude.
not going to be good.
Hey, if they somehow manage to absolutely blow this insanely easy season that's in front of them in terms of opponent strength, strength of schedule, I would 1000% hire Robert Saleh immediately.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
If you don't believe in Kyle Shanahan anymore, I believe in Robert Saleh. I believe that him not getting undermined by his QB you will see that he is a damn good head coach and deserves to be a head coach. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's almost like it's too it's too set up
it's
for
too
them.
good to be true.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like I
yeah.
almost got like a sneaky suspicion they're gonna find a way to screw it up, or obviously I'm gonna knock on wood here. Hopefully the football gods are kind to them.
Yeah, hopefully. But at the same time, like, there's definitely some crap teams in the NFC West, but the Rams are always consistent
Nope.
and, only seem to get better every year and get younger. So, they're competitive. The competitive balance is evening out. And like I said, to me, their championship window is going to quickly close if they can't find some sustained success in 2025 into 2026. So
people would argue that championship window got shut the minute Purdy signed the dot.
yeah, I mean, there's probably some truth to that, but
There probably is. You're not wrong.
numbers are still decently favorable early on. So,
yes. But for this, we're talking for just this season. That's obviously, much further down the line in terms of talking contracts. But for this season in and of itself, I definitely think the Niners can make some noise, and wouldn't be surprised to see them in the postseason yet again. But that is going to go ahead and do it for us here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this second episode, NFC edition of Dark Horses. If you want to check out any of the Hit Squad's socials, you can check them out here. And also check out the Lockdown Defense Sports Network on any of these other socials. We're on Twitter, or excuse me, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and our Gmail is down there below
and
as
Gmail.
well. Yeah, and Gmail, and the great world of Google. But yeah, definitely leave your comments down below if you agree, if you're fans of these teams, if you agree with us. If you're fans of division rivals, tell us why we're absolutely wrong. But just tell us what you think down in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate it, you guys. Have a great night, and we will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.